The countryside access is another example. I don't know what it is about the open source world, but I know now a lot of people are really into their cyclists. And countryside access was one of the first things they asked. They wanted to know, where are all the cycle paths? Where's it safe for me to ride? This data is all, this is a government-funded organisation. The data is all there. And I've asked for a meeting from, with Countryside Access to basically see what we can do about getting that hold of that data. The problem with dealing with a lot of organisations like that is that they treat it jealously. They think, well, this is our revenue generator. This is how we make our money. My argument is that as taxpayers, we have already paid for this data. We paid for this. We helped them build it. We should have access to it. There are other ways they can create the revenue. And the guys in the Code for Pizza would be we're very, very willing to help them put that together. Again, just really for pizza. But the driver is not about the pizza, obviously. It's about the revenue potentials that are behind there. So walking routes, cycling routes, canoe access, and the areas where you can actually, derive some revenue is in the building of extra applications in there for perhaps, building a certain route. Building a social network around a certain route so that you know where other cyclists are on that route and who you're going to encounter. You may want to have some sort of location check-in, especially for walking routes or cycling routes in remote areas. Or if you're canoeing, you want to maybe check in every couple of hours just in case you've injured yourself and you need rescue. There should be some sort of alarm, and that's an application that could be built and sold to people who are interested in that sort of sport. You also want to know about hyperlocal amenities. For local traders, they're going to want to get their presence on a walking route or a cycling route, or anybody, if there's a canoeing planning application for canoeing trips, somebody who sells canoes or sells equipment for canoes or first aid kits is probably going to want to have their details on there. And all of these are the revenue generators, so you're not making any money on the code itself, but you can put together a very compelling application for this. Belfast City Council is very interesting because they're already hyperlocal. Now I put up the negative side here. There's abandoned cars. I was on their website having a look at the immediate local things about what you report. You can report graffiti, you can vandalism, you can report this, and you want to know when your bin's going to be collected. I'm moving to Belfast in the summer, and my first thought is, what day bin day? I have no idea. But a Belfast City Council will have to tell me that kind of thing. But there's also the positive side. As I said earlier, the leisure centres that what sort of facilities do they have? I'm going to move into BT5. Where's my nearest leisure centre, and what sort of facilities does it have? Can I book something in early? Belfast City Council pays for a huge amount of art around the city, but there's very few people. Can anybody tell me where it all is? They know where it all is. They have the GPS location of all of this, and we now have the Translink bus data, so you can do a public art tour of Belfast just based on those two bits, a little mashup of those two bits of information. But it isn't all roses, and this is something. It's a sort of a human thing. I was recently approached by a local company who said, "You've put together a huge amount of data, with these Code for Pizza guys on Translink. All the data's there. Can we take it?" And my first initial reaction was, well, no, you can't. It's ours. I paid for pizza, and these guys built it, and so it's ours. But the thing is, it's one of those things. We have to give this stuff away. It doesn't matter who they are. Now, I am 100% sure, because I know the individuals involved, that this company will never contribute anything back to the movement. The individual developers might, but the company won't. But that doesn't mean we can restrict them from the data. I would like to think that there has to be a certain amount of give and take. That if somebody wants to take the API that the guys have slaved, hundreds of hours in return for a couple of £100 worth of pizza over several months, not one night. If somebody wants to take that, we would hope that they would give something back to the community, maybe a new API. These guys have built it for, I think it's built Ruby and PHP. And maybe somebody wanted to build an ASP.NET something, doohickey, or maybe somebody wanted to build an iPhone doohickey that will do something great with that. And we would hope that they would give it back to the community so everybody could use it. But I have to be realistic that some people really will just take and some people will give. The thing that I had to get through my mind with all this open data is I'm interested in making all data open. All publicly owned data, not personally identifiable, but publicly owned. So postcodes, for example. Why do we have to pay for postcodes? I know it's coming, but why have we had to pay for postcodes all this time? Similarly, Ordnance Survey maps, we've paid for them already. Why do we have to pay more for them? Why can't we work with Ordnance Survey Northern Ireland to do something interesting with those maps? And we'll pay, people will pay for the something interesting as opposed to just paying for the data itself. The main core of open data, and it's something that's very hard for people to get into their heads whenever they're dealing with open source, is that it's not about necessarily the give and take. Open source is really just about the give. Which is basically why I think the main mantra, and probably the last slide I'm going to put up here, is it's okay to steal this data. So you can go on to the CodeForPizza.com website and you can have a look at the projects that are there, and you can take everything that's there. You can look at the data, you can download the stuff, you can take the AtCode library that David's put together, you can look at everything that's produced, you can copy all the interfaces, you can do anything you want, or get a developer to do it for you. But you can steal this data because it's fully open. If anybody has access to open data sources that they think something interesting could be done with, like I say, leisure centres, health centres, appointments with your local MP, councillor, MLA, mayor, city council, whatever. All of that stuff is interesting information, and something could be done with it. And we're interested in doing something with it. So.